Greetings from the sub-ether. This is Alan with another quick extended color basic video. This one continuing my exploration into the get and put high-res graphic screen software sprite kinda buffer copying commands. And what I did is I created this little test program. It's something I've been playing with. I keep expanding it. That lets me go in and ask for the P mode to use, X and Y coordinates, and the width and the height. Then it will convert these to the actual width and height based on which P mode it is and the resolution, and figure out how many bytes it will take up so it can determine how much memory it needs to dimension to hold the graphics data we're about to get. Then I've got a couple of routines that will draw the object. It'll be a box with an X over it. I've got another routine that will get it into the memory, and one that puts it. And I want you to notice that the get command is not using comma G, and the put command is also not using comma pset. So these are the basic versions of these commands. And show you some more things that I discovered tonight, which make sense now that I understand them. So first I'm going to use P mode 0. That's 256 by 192. I'm going to draw at the 0, 0 coordinate of the screen, and it'll be 32 by 32. So that's going to actually be, oh, I said P mode 0. Hang on, let's try that again. I want to use P mode 4, 0, 0, 32, 32. There we go, that's better. That 32 by 32 is actually 32 by 32. 1024 pixels, takes 128 bytes because there's 8 pixels per byte. That's an array size of 26 elements. So we draw it on the screen. Now we're going to get from location 0, 0, 32 by 32 width and height. And now we're going to put it at 32, 32. And there it is. Works fine. Then we're going to put it at 34, 64. So we're going to shift over just by 2 pixels. But it can't do it. This is the first thing that you apparently need to get everything on an even byte boundary. I'm going to run it again. We're going to use P mode 0 and do the same experiment. I'm going to start at 0, 0, 32, 32. And that, on this screen, 32 by 32, is really 16 by 16. So the memory it uses is significantly less. It's 256 pixels. That's 32 bytes of memory. It'll take 6 elements of an array to copy into a buffer. So let's try. There's the drawing it. Now we're going to get from location 0, 0, we're going to get 16 by 16. And I think that's the bug, because I still need to make sure when I get it, I use the original width and height. So if I put it there, why did it work? Because when I get it, it should be getting 32 by 32, but it appears to work with 16 by 16. I don't know why. That shouldn't be working. Then we're going to try to put it at 34, 64. And we get that, because that moves it over. It's no longer on an 8-byte boundary. Now, I don't know why this even worked, because the width and height of 16 by 16 should not work, because that's not what the width and height these commands are taking. So it's either a bug or it's yet something else I don't understand. Let's try one more thing. Mode 0. Now I'm going to draw 2 pixels over. Actually, let me do it first with P mode 4. 2 pixels over, 2, 0, 32, 32. I'm doing 2 instead of 1 because that's 2 pixels over in P mode 4. But if I was in P mode 0, the coordinates 0 and 1 would still be the same pixel, so I wanted to move it over by 2. That guarantees me it's not a multiple of 8 bytes or 8 bits per pixel in the high-res mode, or a multiple of 4 because there's 4 pixels per byte. So let's see what happens. 32 by 32. Same information as the first time. The only difference is it's drawing it 2 pixels over. We're going to get it 2, 0, 32, 32, and we cannot. Because it's not on even byte alignment, the get command does not work without comma G. So let's do the same experiment with mode 0. We're going to start at 2, 0, and 32 by 32. So we convert that to 1616 and figure out how much it's going to store. We draw it. Now we're going to get 2, 0, 16 by 16. Again, I don't think this should work. I think that's a bug. Or, again, something I don't understand. Now we're going to put it at 32, 32. That's the physical coordinate 16 by 16 on the screen when it scales it down. But we're going to put it at 32, 32, and it does not work. In this case, I'm putting it on an even byte boundary, but because I got it a pixel over, the data that it's stored is not in the format. It's incompatible. Now we're going to put it 34, 64. Well, how's that work? If 32 doesn't work, why does 34 work? And at first I was a little confused by this, but then I looked and realized that if you say 34 divided by 2, that's 17. So it's really the 17th pixel of the screen. So that makes no sense because now I'm putting it on something that's not even. But keep in mind, when I originally put it on the screen at 2, 0, that was really the physical location 1, 0 because we're half the resolution of what we specified. So 1, 0 starts 1 bit in of that byte. And when I was putting it at 17, well, you've got 8, then you've got 16, 0 through 7, 8 through 15, 16, 17. The offset worked. So there is a concept of understanding when it grabs a memory and it's a couple of pixels in, if it puts them a couple of pixels in the same way, it will actually work without doing the comma G or comma P set. So let's do it again. P mode 0, offset of 2, 0, 32, 32. Draws it right there. Physically, it's 1 pixel over, but the coordinate is 2, 0, because all the commands are based on the same resolution. When I get it from 2, 0, 16, 16, it gets something, but now if I try to put it on an even byte boundary, it does not work. But I can put it on that 2 pixel over, and it works just fine. So the get and the put must match. In some instances, if you're not on an actual byte boundary, you simply cannot get. That was what happened with P mode 4. But in the case of P mode 0, you can get 1 pixel in and put 1 pixel in, and that works fine. I'm not sure why. I also don't understand why giving it the width and height of 16, 16. Let me make sure my code is correct. So when I start up here, I get the original width and height, and then if mode is less than 4, width divided by 2. If mode is less than 2, height. Then from that moment on, I am using the new width and height. So I don't know why that works yet. I've got a lot more messing around with this to do, but I thought I would share my latest experiment. And I will try to post this sample program in the comments or something. Until next time, don't panic.